Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Well, what a predicament we're in. Clayton Echard thanks his fans for support. That's right. A GoFundMe was created. I created it for Clayton Echard to receive some legal help in some of the court proceedings going on in his world. We watched him publicly on the Maricopa County Supreme Court live stream as he attempted to defend himself in court regarding, I believe, an order of protection or a harassment case. It's so complicated at this point. There's multiple layers and multiple cases going on, so forgive me if I get any of this wrong as we discuss it. But as we watched him compete against a lawyer representing the person he is in this legal battle with, who I am now in a legal battle with. As we watched that play out, you could see that while Clayton believes he has truth behind him, he said the truth will set you free. The frustration felt by many was that he was unprepared for legal jargon and just the dance that exists within the court system. With that said, a GoFundMe was created. I'm going to share that in a second. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content, and every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. What I love about the podcast is I make that after making all of my content for the day. So I summarize everything up, put a bow on it, respond to your comments, and give you up-to-date news in the entertainment world. The Bachelor Rush Hour podcast has been a hit. Featured on Time Magazine, Washington Post. What a year it's been. We launched it 1 year ago this week. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of our supporters. So let's jump into this. And by the way, I will be discussing as much as I can on today's Patreon the fact that I am being served paperwork that will enter me into this legal battle. That is right. The person that is in a legal fight with Clayton Echard, who apparently, according to information that is out there we've received, has deep pockets because she is in multiple legal battles, multiple unresolved legal battles going on. This would be pulling, California into the mix. That's right. So while there are bigger fish to fry in this world, this isn't a whataboutism. She is coming for me to silence my channel and the opinions that I've had. We don't take our opinions lightly. I generally think very carefully before I share them because I wouldn't want to share or sway an opinion in any way that is, harmful to anybody. Which is why this whole time I've discussed my support for getting to the truth. And if the truth, in my eyes, changes direction, if the weather vane moves from Clayton onto her, we're going to follow that. And we'll call Clayton out and we'll discuss that. If he's, convicted of doctoring, medical paperwork or whatever, if he, if there is any indication that he is being deceitful, we will share that. But in the meantime, I'm going to follow, my intuition and my opinion on where this case is going. And I won't be silenced, and I will continue to talk and push this matter as far up the legal flagpole as it needs to go. And that can come with expenses. So we created this GoFundMe for Clayton Echard. In no way does it mention anybody who he's battling. It just shows, he needs some help. We set it at $2,500, and within 1 or 2 hours, it was funded. We moved it to $5,000, and then by the morning, it was funded, and I moved it to $7,500. Now, you might think, well, geez, why does he need this money? This is a lot of money. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, when you are trying to hire experts, people that are good at what they do, they come with a price. It's capitalism, baby. And he needs people that can quickly understand his circumstance and help him navigate these waters. The guy was a former professional football player and does medical sales. He is not capable of representing himself, and I still respect the fact that he tried, and I think it's important that he realizes, and I believe he has, that there is an expertise that is needed there, and you can be innocent and still want to hire good representation. I know. And by the way, if there's any California-based lawyers, we are now accepting applications. I laugh, but I mean that seriously. shoot me a message. But I know that I will need the best legal representation possible, which is why it may come down to me creating a GoFundMe or having someone create a GoFundMe for myself. Now, does that mean we're going to hold somebody at knife point to donate? And this is the issue that's at hand. I get messages like this one. This is weird. So many important causes right now, and we're being asked to help this guy because he was on TV. Getting tired of everyone putting together a GoFundMe for literally anything personal. How about we give $2,500 to the single mother of 4 who works 3 jobs to feed her children instead of a dude cleaning up after his sexcapades? I shouldn't have done it, but I responded to this person via voice note saying, "Good grief, lady, that's rubbish." First of all, he claims he only had oral sex, a claim that until recently has been the sort of claim that hasn't been disputed. We weren't there, and I can't say definitively whether or not he's telling the truth or not. We weren't there. But the general vibe that people have that he had sex and now is dealing with the consequences is because of initial reporting that redacted information. Now, we showed this. We showed emails between Clayton and his this ex-fling here that showed that when she shared this story on Reddit, again, she shared this publicly to a public forum that you don't need to log in to sign into. You can just go view it. You need to log in to comment, but you can just view this. This is public. This is a public platform. When she shared this, she redacted aspect, should you redact people's names? I do it all the time. Redact their name, redact personal information. She redacted the line where he said, "Why are you doing this? We only had oral sex." I mean, is that clear-cut evidence that he's telling the truth and she's not? No. But you start to question, why would she redact something that would be so crucial to finding out whether or not he's the father of her babies? Why would that go down? So we ask these questions. And God damn it if we don't have the right to ask these questions. That is a fair thing to do. This case was brought publicly to The Sun, tabloid magazine. It was brought there with enough identifying information for random people to just Google who she is. We never shared her name. We want nothing to do with any of these lawsuits. But you barked up the wrong tree if you think we're going to go quietly into the night on this. Absolutely not. So these comments exist. And if I started a GoFundMe for me, Dave, you drive a Tesla. How could you be asking money from other? I've already learned with the one good purchase I've ever made in my life, other than, the engagement ring I bought my wife. Got to put that one first. I've learned, hold on to that ring, honey. They're coming for it. I've learned that people will use finances to manipulate conversations and whatnot. And people say, oh, Clayton was the Bachelor. He made X amount of money. He's got 250,000 followers. How could he need the money? And well, the truth is, he's got an investment property that he just talked about launching on Airbnb, which, by the way, we will discuss on Saturday's Driving with Dave. But in that discussion, he mentions, look, the term cash poor. It's kind of a shitty term, but it's the idea that he's got a lot of his money tied up in things. Now, I've got this right here. I've interviewed him, and now, due to some of the circumstances out there, I'm being forced to take out the last half of the interview because it doesn't need to get dragged into the legal system. And this is the system that exists. Now, I can still show you this 5-second clip. I'm going to show you what I can on Saturday. We had a fantastic conversation about Caitlin Bristow and Nick Viall and the alumni that bashed him after a season and all these other things we're going to talk about. I fully hope you guys will support watching this video, even though I can't share some of it.
I am protecting my own reputation. Everything I have said has been a statement of the facts.
And that's all you can live by. And that's all I'm going to share about that. That everything Clayton claims to have said is a statement of his facts. Now it just comes down to the people that want to support him can, and they can do it by joining his GoFundMe. So this scarcity mindset that exists, why donate to this when there's all these other issues going on? Well, we have a ultra niche audience of people that support Bachelor Nation. Now, does that mean we blindly support contestants that were on the show? Absolutely not. We've shared people that have done bad things from the show, and we've helped expose them and get people to share their truths. Absolutely. But in this case, people have the right to know that if they want to, due to the frustration they saw by seeing Clayton unrepresented, that they can donate. Imagine being gluten-free. I'm gluten-free. I'm going to go to the, the Great American Buffet. And then there's chicken, and then there's beef, and then there's mac and cheese. How dare there be mac and cheese? Don't you know I'm gluten-free? I'm getting tired of everyone putting mac and cheese at the buffet. Why don't we give more time and attention to the sirloin steak? Eat your fucking sirloin steak, okay? Don't be ridiculous. And then, of course, I respond, and then they go, well, I'm just sharing my opinion. You are, and your opinion's shitty, and I'm going to call it out because that's what we do. Crack an egg to make an omelet. If someone has a shitty opinion, we discuss it over here. And if their opinion's better and you believe the person over me, and that's fine too. You can have an opinion that I'm a bad recap or whatever. Here's what Reality Steve had to say regarding some of the bullshit he's received regarding Clayton's statement. Regarding Clayton's GoFundMe.
Dave Neal started a GoFundMe page for Clayton. This wasn't Clayton's idea. This was Dave, after watching Clayton. Not saying that he struggled, but he was by himself, and he's not a lawyer. So he needs legal representation. And I understand that a lot of you seem to be under the impression that why would we donate to a guy who is famous, and doesn't he have any money, and stuff like that. Like, I don't get why that's someone's first reaction when there's a GoFundMe page set up, because the last time I checked, nobody is holding a gun to your head to donate.
Scarcity mindset.
And if you don't want to donate, just don't donate, and you don't have to say anything and give reasons why you don't want to donate. Nobody cares. But yet, myself, Dave, we heard it all yesterday because we were the two that were promoting it. And it was really frustrating getting messages saying, why am I going to waste my money on that guy? What?
Now, I've said this already, and I'm keeping tabs on who of Bachelor alumni is educated on this story, and are they using their platform to elevate one of their own, that being Clayton Echard. Most people haven't. Bachelor Data, Reality Steve, Blake Horstman, Susie Evans have all donated. Now, not to say that others haven't, and it's not a threat to anyone out there. I've had Bachelor alumni come up to me and go, hey, Dave, how dare you? People don't have to support this, and I understand, but, people who are alumni from a show should realize that if the target's on his back, it could be on theirs just as easily. Now, if it comes down to me raising funds, I will push and ask for those that have large platforms to do the right thing if it's in their, ability to help me out by not by donating, but using their platform to get the word out that we are being dragged or possibly being dragged through a court system that is in some ways designed to just bankrupt people. You need a lot of money to deal with all of this stuff. Hate to say it. So here's Clayton's response. And by the way, I've covered him for a long time. This was 36 weeks ago. I was one of the first people to buy his book, okay? I try to support content creators within the Bachelor community that are trying to do good things like share mental health and all of that. We actually talked in the podcast in the Driving with Dave, which dropped Saturday, about Clayton and how there's this misconception about him that he's just this big bad guy. And well, there he is. When he was talking about growing up as like kind of the skinny kid, he talks about growing up as the guy that was friend zoned by everybody. We try to humanize everybody that we see on our screens because that helps us have a little bit more empathy for them, that they're just not some big bad guy. Clayton posted this yesterday. Thank you to all that have donated on the GoFundMe. I truly do appreciate every one of you and can't express how much you're helping during this time. In no way has he shared the link, and I understand that, or even asked for any donations. I was also accused of scamming people, which again was quickly refuted because I set the GoFundMe up as Clayton was heading back to court and he needed to respond to the email so that he can receive the funds. He is the sole beneficiary. So that claim that I was scamming people is, of course, long gone because now they see Dave Neal is organizing this fundraiser on behalf of Clayton Echard. I appreciate people that question GoFundMes. There have been scams in the past. I would never want someone in my family to donate their hard-earned money to a scam, and I appreciate them questioning before donating. But now that people know what the story is all about, don't you think Clayton deserves a fair fight? I asked this question because he may be my lead blocker in this case, and I've told him that whatever happens to him is going to be sort of illustrative of what comes next for me. And we are watching, and we are expecting to be served today. All right, I'll be on Patreon right after this, patreon.com/Dave Neal.